Good morning and welcome to Empowering Older Adults, Strengthening Independent Living and Resources with Resources and Support. This program is supported by a grant from MetaFund. A bit of housekeeping. Today's program is being recorded. For audio and video, all participants are muted and without video to minimize distraction. For chat, submit a question or comment. And do that by selecting the chat button at the bottom of your screen and send a message to Q&A. Questions will be forwarded to the host and answered time permitting. For closed captions, select the live transcript button at the bottom of your screen and enable live transcription. And now I'd like to hand the floor over to the Executive Director of the San Francisco Interfaith Council, Michael Pappas. Michael, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Trey, and thank you for your incredible support in making these trainings possible. Good morning. I'm Michael Pappas, and on behalf of the San Francisco Interfaith Council and our collaborating partners, I want to welcome you to this second in a series of 6 online training sessions entitled Empowering Older Adults. Communities of faith are hubs where older adults feel safe, valued, and may escape social isolation. Faith and lay leaders entrusted with their spiritual care, more often than not, are first responders in instances when the well-being of older adults is at risk. To better equip faith-affiliated caregivers with the necessary insights, skills, and resources to minister to this vulnerable sector, the San Francisco Interfaith Council, in collaboration with the San Francisco Department of Disability and Aging Services, DOS, and the Institute on Aging, IOA, supported by a grant from the MetaFund, offers this 6-week online training series entitled Empowering Older Adults. This week's training session, entitled Important Resources for Older Adults, will be led by L. Olsen, Lead Supervisor of Assessment Services at the Institute on Aging, and Dana Leavitt, Acting Analyst at the DOS Benefits and Resources Hub. The threefold focus of this presentation will be: 1, to increase understanding of DOS and the specific populations it serves; 2, to increase understanding of how to access DOS Hub services; and 3, to increase understanding of the services the DOS Hub offers both directly and within the network of community-based organizations. At this time, and without further ado, I hand the floor over to our 2 presenters. Elle, would you lead us off?
Yes, thank you, Michael, and thank you, Trey. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's see. Let me know if you're able to see my screen. Yes. Wonderful, wonderful. So before I get started, I will share again, my name is Elle Olsen. I am a supervisor over at the Institute on Aging. I've been there for 6 years now. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a queer, white, cisgender woman, and I like to provide a brief description to make my presentation just a little bit more accessible and engaging for folks who don't have a video or a visual. So I'm a white woman. I have long brown hair. I've got these really big eyebrows. I inherited those from my mom. And I'm wearing a cozy sweater today. So I also want to thank all the faith leaders. When I was younger, I was a depressed teenager. And so my faith leader really walked with me and made all the difference in my life and the trajectory of my life. So I do want to say thank you to all of you faith leaders out there. So I am with the Institute on Aging. I'm going to do just a brief overview of what we offer, some of what we offer at IOA. I can't go into detail about everything we do. It's incredible work that we're able to do through our partnerships with DOS, Disability and Aging Services, with SDA, Senior Disability Action. We have some incredible staff, leaders, and then, of course, participants. And we're able to just build these really great resources. So I'll dive into those resources. Let's see my next one here. Yeah, there we go. So just wanted to start with home care and support services, right? So we do offer home care That program is called Choreo. It's specialized, personalized home care for older adults as well as adults with disabilities. That is private pay. We also have something called Compania. This is a brand new offering, and it's incredible. It's a team of people who really wrap their arms, wrap their support around not only the families involved with caring for somebody diagnosed with dementia at any stage, in the beginning or advanced, but it's also, wrapping that support around that loved one, and it's comprehensive. Social worker, caregiver, adult day program at our enrichment center, really unique program that we're really excited to be able to offer to folks who, really do need that extra support with dementia care. So the home care support services, and then we also have integrated care. So a lot of folks are familiar with the friendship line. That is a national and local warm line. So as opposed to a hotline where, you're in crisis, this program is really unique because it's designed for folks who, might be isolated, might be going through something really tough, just lost a loved one, right? And it's a place where you can get a call once a day and you can connect, you can share, you can get resources that are local to your community. They make about 50,000 outbound calls each year. And it's another layer of support that can be offered that is pretty incredible. I had an opportunity to work on the friendship line in my undergraduate degree. And it's a really incredible program. I'll just call out right now that the number to call, if you want to jot this down, I'll have it in handouts later, but 888-670-1360. That's 888-670-1360. So we've got trained professionals on the other line. A call has not gone unanswered since the 70s. It's really a great program that we offer. We have Unlock, which is our PACE program. I want to dive a little more into that one. So that's for folks who are 55 and older and who have Medicare and Medi-Cal benefits. It's medical, home care, transportation, meals. It's so much comprehensive care that we provide through our Unlock PACE program. And the enrichment center, I touched on this earlier. So this is out in the Presidio. It's a team of people and an adult day program where folks can stay. It is private pay, but folks can stay there for the day, for a few hours, and really get engaged with a team that is really supportive, and they have a lot of fun out there. So this is really just that brief overview for you of some of those services that we provide at IOA. And the Community Living Fund. So I'm a part of this department. That's where my programs are, community programs. So we're out in the field. We are a bunch of small teams doing really big, important work. And that's where I happen to be within Institute on Aging. So this is where I'm going to provide you with a more in-depth details about these really special community programs that we offer. And community programs, we all work together. So we have meal support, home care access, right? Vouchers for home care, respite for caregivers, case management. So, you'll get my contact info if you have questions about people living in the community, San Francisco City and County, questions about resources. We really do have a lot that we can offer just within our community programs. So I'll start with support at home. This program is for folks who are in the middle income, so low to middle income, right? So that's anybody who has like maybe a zero share of cost for the IHSS in-home supportive services program, those folks would not be eligible for this support at home care voucher program. That's because they could have the IHSS support, right? And so anybody who has a share of cost, whether it's a couple $100 or $1,000, and all the way up to 100% of the area median income, those are the people we're supporting. Low and middle income people who fall into the gap and then would need to pay out of pocket for home care. And home care prices, they go up. It's a service, right? That we have really skilled caregivers out there, and they're compensated for this very important work. But it happens to be expensive. It's life-saving work. And so with support at home, people who don't have those alternatives to help get access to home care, they can receive home care vouchers. And the vouchers make it so that access to some care is something that they're able to receive. So we have DOS funding for the support at home program. It did start as a pilot several years ago, and we're so happy that it's a permanent program with a team of 4 people who work together. Right now, we're serving about 100 people in the program, a little over 100, and some of those people are temporary, many are long-term in the program, have been with us since 2017, right? So I want to review eligibility for support at home. So we serve adults with disabilities as well as older adults. You need to have, the requirement is help with at least 2 of your activities, right? So we don't require that you have any formal diagnosis, but if you need help with maybe laundry, maybe some light house cleaning, or maybe it's, having supervision so that you can get in and out of the bathroom safely, whatever that might be, as long as you need help with 2 activities, right? And then that income requirement, that's really key for this program, right? Within 100% of the area median income. Our asset limit is $40,000. And then we do require proof of your financial need. So a co-payment is also required. It's sliding scale, designed to be something that, fits into your budget. And each individual person has a different copay and home care voucher based on financial and functional needs. So, yeah, a lot of information here, but again, this is a really unique program, first in the nation, to provide this service for that gap in long-term care where we want people to be staying home. We want to support you to be independent in your community, maybe with loved ones. And if not with loved ones, we want to provide you with that wraparound of support. So really, really great program that we're able to provide through DOS, Disability and Aging Services. That department funds us. Okay. So then we have our IOA case management program. And this team, they do incredible work. They really get in there. They roll up their sleeves. And for folks who are eligible for this program, which I'll go ahead and highlight that eligibility requirement for this one. So resident of San Francisco, age 60 and above, or the 18 to 59 with disabilities, right? The impairment of, again, it's just 1 or 2, 1 activity of daily life, 2 instrumental activities of daily life. And for folks who aren't familiar with those terms, the activities of daily life, so those are things like eating, bathing. Those are those really critical kind of self-care activities. So for this program, if you need help with one of those kind of more personal care needs, you would be eligible, or two of the other activities, the instrumental ones, which are more like, meals, laundry, making the bed, things like that. So what they're able to do, for folks who are unable to manage the complicated system that is out there of, medical needs, transportation needs, whatever that might be, they can get in there. They can do a lot of that work. They can fill out paperwork to help get people connected to the right home care, whether that's IHSS or support at home. They're really able to do that. And, I spoke yesterday with Karen, the supervisor of this program, and she said, they make contact real quickly within a few weeks. And then folks have been staying for, a year or so that they can really ensure that extra support is offered. Okay. Go ahead and highlight. This is a new program that I'm involved with. It's our program specifically for adults with disabilities. So we're looking at those 59 and younger, so 18 to 59. And this is a home delivered meals program. And we're able to offer, vegetarian meals. We have some more of the Western American food. We also have like a Chinese, kind of Asian cuisine. We partner with self-help for the elderly. We partner with Project Open Hand, as well as Meals on Wheels. And those meal providers are able to go out into the community. I mean, they've got incredible teams of drivers, as well as on-site, care managers and people who wrap around more support for individuals receiving these meals. So the eligibility requirements, again, it's important to highlight, resident of San Francisco, limited caregiver support, limited access. So, there isn't good, you don't have to submit any paperwork saying, this is exactly why I need this support. If you are struggling to get meals, and you are within the 18 to 59, we want to get you those meals, right? You don't have to pass a test, anything like that. And in fact, if it's an emergency situation, we can expedite the process and get you meals, as quick as possible within a few days, right? We can really speed up that process. A little glass of water there. So the team here, they'll process referrals within about 48 hours. And then our goal is to reach out within 2 to, I want to say now, with some staffing, 8 weeks, within 2 to 8 weeks, as soon as possible. But there is a little delay due to staffing. And this team, they're incredible. They're going to be getting out there, doing those home visits again. We're so glad to be able to visit homes after, the sheltering in place. Now that we're not doing that, we can meet with people face to face again. The last program I'll mention before I hand it off to Dana is a brand new program. So this one is not for the care recipient, which is support at home. That's for the person receiving care. While this benefits the care recipient and we work with them, this is for caregivers. So we have a temporary short-term respite. We offer that respite to caregivers who are, living in San Francisco and care recipients living in San Francisco. Another DOS funded program. They're really incredible to partner with and make these kinds of programs happen. But so for anyone that is an unpaid caregiver, unpaid, right? We can compensate them to be able to have their loved one go to an adult day program. And we have some options for those programs, or it can be in-home respite. So for the in-home respite, that would either be, let's say the caregiver's maxed out, all family members, we're maxed out and we need support from the outside. We can do that through agencies. So we have agency caregivers, or let's say adult daughter has been providing care. She's unpaid and needs a vacation, weekend vacation, needs, some time, right? Then we can compensate a different family member. So we have options in this program, but it is really incredible that we're able to offer this. And this is for adults with disabilities as the care recipient, and our older adults. So, whatever, your abilities are, and across the age span, it's really incredible that within the Institute on Aging, we're able to find different ways to work with you. What do you need? And to kind of fill in some of those gaps, and really create kind of a more robust support system, kind of strengthen what might be there or build it from scratch. And these are some of our programs that we're able to do that with. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Dana. So you're welcome to take over the screen here. And then at the end, we'll do some questions.
All right. Thanks so much, Al. I appreciate you, all the information that you shared with us. My name is Dana Leavitt. I have been with the Department of Disability and Aging Services for almost 10 years. I currently am in the acting program analyst here at the DOS Benefits and Resource Hub. But prior to that, I'm a social worker. So I was a supervisor for our DOS integrated intake unit. And so my pronouns are she and her. Once again, please hold your questions, and we're happy to talk about some of your questions at the end of my presentation. One thing I do want to note, I think sometimes folks that have been in the community for a long time, I want to make sure I want to clarify. So in 2019, San Francisco voters decided that it was fine to change our name. We used to be the Department of Aging and Adult Services. And we changed our name once again in 2019 to be the Department of Disability and Aging Services. We're the same department. We're doing the same great work. What we decided is that we really wanted to make sure that we were highlighting the work that we're doing with our individuals, our younger disabled. And like I said, we've always been providing services, but we really wanted to let them have more of a presence in our title. And so once again, we're the same department that we've always been working with the same clients. But that did happen. And so just to make sure everyone understands, sometimes our acronym changed. Our acronym now is DAS for the Department of Disability and Aging Services. Our vision as a department is to provide older adults and people with disabilities to make sure and ensure that they feel valued, engaged, and living with dignity. And the way our department is able to do that is our goal and our mission is to support the well-being and the safety and the independence of those populations, which once again is older adults, persons with disabilities, and also veterans. And how we do that, our values in providing that is through compassion and accountability, inclusion, equity, and innovation. In order to accomplish this mission, we provide a range of services to the individuals, because our goals, as we mentioned, is that we're trying to serve folks so that they can live as happy and as healthy as they can in the community, and that they can age in place. So it's a bit of a pendulum of the individuals that we're serving. We have individuals who are living independently and doing very, very well. And then as people age and have more needs, we may find folks on the other side of the pendulum who need a little bit more support to be successful. And so some of the different departments that we have to accomplish this is, and I'm just going to kind of run through them, is we have the Office of Community Partnerships. They're referred to often as OCP. And that is a department that helps, because our department gives a lot of money to the community-based organizations in the community. And so their job is to help make sure, provide support to them, to monitor and make sure that we're all doing what we need to and moving in the right direction. So when, for instance, we may have an idea, maybe we had a focus group and there's been some need in the community, that is the organization that's going to find an agency that can provide that services and then to support them in their ability to provide that. The next one is our clinical and quality improvement. We have a very small team of nurses that provide really short-term support to our DOS clients when they're having complex clinical needs. They often work in collaboration with our adult protective services workers, and they also work really in collaboration with our in-home support services social workers. And they provide that medical expertise when necessary. We have the County Veterans Service Office, referred often as CVSO. And that is a department that really is specifically developed to help veterans and their dependents so that they understand and can apply for the benefits that are available to them through the Department of Veterans Affairs. Our DOS eligibility unit, those are individuals who are able to help our older adults and adults with disability to access and stay connected to both Medi-Cal and CalFresh. And CalFresh is the service that helps people with their nutritional needs, and so that they have a debit card and they can pay for groceries. Our intake unit, which is a unit that I have worked with for 10 years, is a unit of social workers. And their job is that they work over here at the DOS Benefits and Resource Hub, and we manage a phone helpline as well as an in-person drop-in center for people to come so that they can access and be made aware of what resources are available for both older adults and disabled adults. We have Adult Protective Services, and that unit's very large, and they accept and respond to reports of abuse and exploitation and self-neglect of the two populations that we serve. And then lastly, for the people who have probably the greatest need and the most vulnerable individuals in our community, we provide services to help support them when they're in imminent danger and risk of abuse and exploitation. And these are all our internal programs. Once again, majority of our services come through the community-based organizations, and that's something that I'm going to talk about in a little bit as well. So oftentimes people get really overwhelmed trying to figure out and navigate these challenging situations that may occur to either themselves or a family member, or a loved one or a neighbor. And so often we heard in the community in a lot of focus groups, I wish there was just one number I could call. I wish there was just one place I could go and I could get the answers that I need. And so lo and behold, we developed the DOS Benefits and Resource Hub. And we really developed this so that we could support people in the way that they need. We don't, we don't want people to have to be on the internet, Googling, trying to figure it out, putting the pieces together. We really see it as our job and our responsibility to be experts, and that we really need to be the ones, if we're one phone call away, we're one, door away from you getting the support that you need in either your own care or the care of someone you love. So when you think of DOS, and you look at a building, for instance, this picture that we're looking at, DOS with all of its rooms and all of its departments, APS, IHSS, OCP, all those departments that we just talked about, they're inside the house, but we really feel like DOS Hub is the front door. And so that's how we visualize the hub. In this model of being a one-stop shop, it's really important that people understand this is the place we want you to come and feel comfortable so that you can learn about all of the services that are in the community and we can assist you in getting connected to the services that you need. And this is for older people, adults with disability, veterans, caregivers. We're available for all the professionals in the community, certainly for the folks that are working with all the different congregations. We want to be available to all of you if you're working with one of these folks who needs support in your congregations. And the goal is when you come in, that it's an opportunity. I think the vision of this when the hub started is that we didn't want to be sending these folks from one city building to another based on what their needs were. And so at the hub, we have the intake unit, which is the unit of social workers who can help kind of triage what your needs are. We have the eligibility unit that are going to specifically help you in terms of determining your eligibility for Medi-Cal and for CalFresh. And then we also have the County Veterans Service Office is there. So all of our veterans can be directed there and their dependents. And then lastly, we also have it's called IPAC, and it's for the individual providers who are providing support to the in-home support services program. So these are the caregivers, the paid caregivers. They're located now. They used to be at 77 Otis, and now we're a walk-in center that includes IPAC as well. The hub is available Monday through Fridays, 8 to 5. And once again, and you're going to see this later in the presentation, because this is the biggest takeaway from my presentation, is that this is how people can get the support that they need. And it's for everybody. It's for clients, it's for caregivers, it's for professionals. This is how we're available to people. So once again, in person, we're located at 2 Goff, the corner of Otis and Goff Street. Our front door is kind of to the side of the building, and there's a small little parking lot right next to the front door. We are also available over the phone, which is sometimes easier for a lot of folks. We are a helpline, and we're at 415-355-6700. And that phone number is manned with our social workers. So our social workers will answer the phones. We have a lot of language capacity. We have Chinese, Spanish, Japanese, Vietnamese. I'm sure I'm forgetting other languages. We also have the language line. So with all of that, we can serve anybody with any language needs. And then lastly, we have our website, which is sfhsa.org. And so anybody can go to our website. You'll see a lot of information about resources and about ways of contacting us and the various different departments. So that's a wonderful website to see as well. So this is just another picture. This is our front door. It's got a big board above it, and so we're hoping people won't miss us. Once again, we're for everyone. Clients, neighbors, loved ones, yourself, professionals. addition, I wanted to, the other thing that DOS has been able to do is that we realize that we're trying to be as accessible to individuals as possible. And so one of the contracts we have with 14 community-based organizations is what we call kind of mini hubs. And we have these satellite offices so that they can serve every district in our community. So all across San Francisco, we have various different, and ADRC stands for Aging and Disability Resource Centers. And so this is one of the handouts that I'm going to be providing to you all. So it'll be sent out by Trey, and it gives you kind of a map of where they're located, and it also gives you information. There's a lot of language provision also within this group of individuals, the 14 different agencies. So there's so in effect they're very similar to us, the DOS Hub, and that they're able to help people fill out applications. They're helpful with like translation. People may get stuff in the mail and they need someone to help understand what it says and what's being asked of them. They can help fill out applications. They can also help the person get connected to do the applications to DOS for the various services that we offer directly. What we're really trying to do is accomplish that people have support nearby. If they can't make it down to Tugoff and they prefer going in person, they may choose to go to one of these, more satellite offices to get the support they need. And this is just talking a lot about we have social workers who are available to everyone. It's our job to do whole person assessments. Someone may come in and think that they need one thing, and we may be able to discuss with them all the various options that are available to them. Our biggest goal is really just to provide information and referrals to all the various options in the community. We want to be able to answer people's questions, and we want to be able to help them with paperwork. We want it to be easy, an easy process for everyone. Some of the programs that DOS helps fund is in the area of food and nutrition. So there's a range of services that can be offered to individuals. We have free lunch programs. We have congregate meal sites. So it really depends on what the needs of the individual is. If they're able to leave their home, they certainly can benefit from the socialization. We may give them a list of the various different congregate meal sites and the type of meals that they provide. We may also, for an individual who actually is at the time, due to medical conditions, they may be at a point where they really can't leave their home anymore. And that's when we would consider home delivered meals. And Elle had talked about the younger disabled, and they're one of our providers to the younger disabled. So they're the ones that are organizing the meals for the younger disabled group. We have programming for older adults through our home deliver program as well. The applications come to DOS, and then they go from there. So once again, they have the congregate meal sites. There's also home delivered groceries that we could talk about depending on what the person's needs are. And so we're going to help determine what's the best fit for them. Then we also can help people in regards to signing up for CalFresh, and that's the program where you get kind of a debit card so you can go to the grocery store and buy groceries. So the social workers are going to help determine what's the best fit and then help them take care of any paperwork they might need to qualify for that. The other area of support is in-home supports. So that can be a range of enrolling an individual for in-home support program. And that's a program that is specifically for people who are Medi-Cal eligible. And those individuals can then have caregivers who can take care of them in their homes. In-home support services has social workers. They go out, they evaluate what the need is, how much time, and then they can help assist, in finding a caregiver, because usually the individual might need to find their own caregiver, interview, things like that. They walk them through the process and help them get connected to that service. And then as Ella talked about, there's various other caregiving support, and those would be things like support at home that she had mentioned. And then also just the respite support that she had mentioned for a caregiver. So these are all things that we can kind of talk about. Caregiver support, as well as support for an individual, respite programs, adult day health, and then also support at home, which is a sliding scale kind of caregiver voucher program that Elle was just talking about. There's also a program through Self-Help for the Elderly where they kind of can provide emergency and home support, which is really a limited, it's 3 hours a shift, and you can oftentimes get it 4 times a year for the individuals that qualify for that. So once again, you have a social worker who can talk about what your needs are, figure out the best fit, and then send you in the right direction and help you make that connection. We're all about the warm handoffs. And that's the thing that happens at the hub also, is we really don't want to make sure that if we sent you to a location that you were able to, you know, get your needs met, get the paperwork done. So we want to make sure that that is happening. The connection and community programs. DAS has a lot of wonderful programming that happens in the community with our community-based organizations that really can be life-fulfilling. You know, things like art and music. There's a lot of programs that are exercise and a lot of technology training and resources that are available also. And so these are wonderful programs. They're happening all over the city in all the various community-based organizations. I really can't go on and on enough about the programming that is available to people. We're really trying to encourage socialization, connections, you know, people feeling kind of fulfilled in the classes and the growth that they're experiencing. So like, for example, like choir, computer labs where they have individuals who can help people understand how to use smartphones, how to use computers. They can connect them not only to classes and resources, but also they can connect them to kind of discounted internet for low-income individuals, or even, you know, trying to find devices that maybe could be low for low-income individuals. A lot of art and engagement. They provide, you know, things like movies and get-togethers. Exercise and fitness is very big. There's a lot of classes. Tai Chi, chair fitness for people who might have limitations. Just different types like aerobic exercises and things like that. We have translation services through the ADRCs, which I talked about earlier, and just connecting in general with all the different things like community, as far as community resources such as, you know, transportation. And we have the free Muni program. We also have, you know, San Francisco Paratransit. And so these are some of the programs that are really instrumental to helping people be successful in their homes. And then we have the protection and safety programs. And these are the programs that have been developed specifically for people who are a little higher risk. And so for people at high risk and those in needing crisis intervention, we have adult protective services. And these are social workers who are available, who are going to come in and really help provide support to really shore up that individual so that they're safe. We also have intensive programming for people who really have high needs and still would choose to live in the community. They can help with legal and guardianship services. And these are programs within our department, the Public Guardian's Office, Public Conservator, and our Rep Payee program. So once again, and I know I'm repeating myself, but this really is the message we want people to hear. We're available to everybody. And that in being available, we're available by person. If people prefer the face-to-face interaction at 2GOF, we are available with our helpline, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, 415-355-6700, and then our online website, sfhsa.org. This is something similar to what I'm hoping to send to you all. This gives you a list of all the different aging and disability resources in the community so that you have these locations. It has phone numbers, addresses, and language capacity on this form. There are 14 of the aging and disability centers And sometimes I like to describe it also as like a wheel. Like the hub, DOS hub is in the middle, and then all the satellite are the spokes on the wheel. And honestly, between the collaboration, we really are doing, I think, a very good job of being able to be available and accessible to everybody throughout whatever area of the city you live in. So that's it for me. I have included my email here in case anybody would like to reach out to me. And I think we have time for questions.
Yeah.
And then I also just wanted to mention that I have a survey for individuals with a link and the QR code. So if anybody would like to provide us that feedback, that would be perfect.
Thank you so much, Dana. And I want to reiterate, because one of the questions from Gabriella Schultz was, is there a resource list? We are going to be sending out the recording link to today's training, as well as the PowerPoints and a list of links and resources too. That's the focus of today. So you will be getting that by day's end today, and we hope that you take advantage of that. I have a couple of questions, and I know we had one part. I think we had one particular one. Let's go first to the folks who are attending. Give me just a quick moment. Okay. Question. Question to DOS. Do you provide ASL interpretation? And if yes, what may be the timeline when requested? Thank you.
Okay. So yes, if somebody comes in and requires ASL, we go through the language line and actually are able to provide that service. So we certainly can do that on the spot. You also could call us if you wanted to set up anybody, if they want to set up a specific time, and then we know somebody is coming in, that's helpful also, because we can try to, kind of get our ducks in a row before someone shows up. But we certainly can do it with anybody who walks in the agency.
A good question, because, there are some folks who are on the line today who are not from the city and county of San Francisco. And if they are not, what do they do?
So they can also call our hotline, and we can give them information for the county that they live in.
Okay.
For we call them the AAA, the Area on Aging. And so we can give them the information for their particular county that they live in.
Okay, from Deborah Novchik, if someone was a 60-year resident, but during the pandemic, her condition deteriorated and she had to go into long-term care facility, and the only one that had a bed at that time was in San Mateo County, if we want to bring her back to a facility in San Francisco, is she still considered to be a San Francisco resident?
I don't know if Lisa, if Elle wants to chime
Yeah.
in, but if
Yeah.
that was a resident prior, yes.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was going to say. If the plan is to come back into San Francisco, we would see what we can do to help make that happen, and to work with them to get services ready for when they arrive, right? We have been able to do that in the past in our programs.
Mhm.
And I'm sure that there's going to be more questions even beyond this. So the question is, will you give us the numbers to call so that these good folk on the line can get their questions answered beyond this training?
Yes, in fact, if I may, I just wanted to add, we put this in the chat and I didn't say this out loud. So for folks who are on the phone here, the number to call for the Institute on Aging, we have a department called Connect, and it's 415-750-4111. And we'll provide you with resources, as Michael said. So you'll have access to a lot of those numbers and information on eligibility and referrals. The other thing I wanted to touch on related to, ASL, accessibility in our teams, a lot of folks are monolingual. We have folks who speak, Chinese or Cantonese, Mandarin. We have staff who are Russian, Spanish. It's, really incredible that we've been able to get a lot of folks on the teams who can communicate directly. And if we can't, Language Line has been really incredible. They come in person, video, phone, whatever it might be. So we will meet you where you're at. Mhm.
One of the things I remember during my tenure on the Department of Aging and Adult Services, the previous iteration of DOS, was I was there during the passage of the Dignity Fund. And I remember going to our commission meetings and voting on a lot of amazing programs. Is there a comprehensive list of all of those CBOs and what they're offering?
So currently right now, and this is something that we're hoping to have in the future, is we're currently working on having kind of with our website, having an online resource guide. Historically, folks that have been familiar with DOS is, I think it hasn't been updated since 2019, but we had this resource guide that everyone I think covets because it was in paper and it had a listing of all the different agencies and things that were available. At this point, it just became kind of too unmanageable to try to maintain. And so once again, they're currently right now working on that. And so I'm hoping within the next 6 months, we're hoping to come out with this more interactive, it should be really exciting, interactive kind of resource guide that's going to be attached to that. Honestly, though, is really what we really encourage people that just call us and that we can give you all of the phone numbers that you need and the various different things. And the other thing that maybe wasn't as clear in I just want to throw this out there too, in the presentation is the applications that we do directly through DOS is for home delivered meals, in-home support services. We take adult protective services applications, community living fund, and case management. So I just wanted to be really clear about those. DOS has, especially for home delivered meals, community living fund, and case management in particular, we manage the city wait list. And so it's important that you call us in particular if you're looking for those direct services, because the applications will come through us. And then we will end up for those 3 in particular, placing them on wait lists. And then the wait list is then managed by us, but the community partners are the ones that address the person's service needs. So I just wanted to make sure I was super clear about that. And our number, once again, is 415-355-6700. And one of the biggest things we do is simply information and referrals. So really for you folks as professionals, just call us, have your clients call us directly. We can really, because we have social workers, we really have the expertise to actually do a whole person assessment. And because they might not even understand that they have a need that can be addressed in the community. And so really that's our job to kind of tease out what's going on and how we can help them.
You raised the issue of food, and we have a question from Victor Dresser, and I'd like to elaborate on it if that's okay. If a client is unhappy with their food services, how easy is it to change? He asked for a special food needs from Meals on Wheels and was told that nothing could be done should he change the food provider. I would add to that too, because of the particular audience you're speaking to, is there are certain faith traditions that have particular food needs. How do we address that in the whole bureaucracy of services being provided?
So there are some special food provisions by different service providers. And so really, I think they need to, and especially if they're having difficulty with an agency, we always encourage them to work with the agency first. But if that's not successful, then they would go ahead and call DOS, and DOS can then kind of talk to them and try to figure out what would be a better fit. So I encourage people to communicate first of all, if they're already receiving services with their service provider, and then they can also reach out to DOS at our hotline, and we can kind of talk through things with them and see if there's a better fit.
We have a wonderful offer here to the both of you from Kimberly Chebelis Rodler. If you would like handmade cards to send to seniors, please be in touch with an address to deliver them. Thank you,
Oh,
Kimberly.
thank
She's done some amazing work with Rhoda Goldman and some great folk there. And if I were you, I'd take her up on that offer.
That's great.
Elle, I have two questions for you. Okay. One, you made reference to the friendship line. Now, I know during the pandemic in particular, the mental health needs of folk just skyrocketed, and they still are important. I understand, though, that the friendship line is also in need of volunteers to be trained to be online. Can you speak to that for a moment?
Yes, absolutely. And so they have volunteers that take shifts, during the day, and then there's overnight shifts as well, because as we said, it's national, right? National and local. And so, that process of becoming a volunteer, there's a series of, trainings you would go through to be prepared for, all sorts of moments, really critical moments. Where you can check in with folks, how to support somebody when they do mention, that they're not doing okay. And so, and then joining that team, it's a really supportive team of people that come in and work together in a space, and others who work more, remote. But it's a large group and they're always looking for more. So if you're interested in joining the friendship line, I think, reaching out to our Connect department is just a great way. You can start there and just ask for more on how, or you could go online. It's IOAGING.org. But personally, when I was on the friendship line, it was just every day, right? Really meaningful, connections. On the part of the volunteer, you do listening, active listening, and providing resources. But, really some unforgettable moments where you can be there for someone. And
I'd like to say during the pandemic, your local San Francisco line was recognized by the state and made a statewide program. And it really, for those on the line who would like a volunteer opportunity and to be trained to do this, I think that this would be probably a great experience for you. Our dear friend Ali Chu, who is one of the planning team for this, said, could you say more about CVS for older vets, benefits, and SAM's targeting vet? I have to tell you, sometimes we use acronyms here. It's like alphabet soup. So please parse out and tell us what these programs are.
So the CVSO, it's County Veterans Service Office.
Yeah.
And so it's located here at Tugoff. They are they're a very, very small unit, but they are mighty. And they really provide amazing support to both veterans and then also their dependents. And so we have a lot of folks that come into the office, but also call and set up appointments with them so that they can review any benefits that might be available to them as a veteran. They're able to kind of triage, because some of it depends on what your work experience was as a veteran. And that kind of leads to what is available to you in regards to benefits. And so they're able to help tease all of that out. And then they also are extremely helpful in helping you kind of submit all the paperwork that you need to do for these services. So it's a wonderful program for anybody who's a veteran or dependent of veteran. I think it's a wonderful opportunity to connect with them and make sure that there isn't something that's available to you you're not aware of.
Are you, now that we're speaking about veterans, are you working with Swords to Plowshares as well?
That's one of our contracted agencies, yeah. And so they provide support. And so that's the other thing. I mean, there are many agencies in the community who also provide support to this population also. And so they're going to be able to direct people to those different agencies as well as DOS intake. either one of those, can direct people to different services in the community.
Excellent. Elle, you made reference to Compania. I have a special place in my heart for Compania because our offices are in the main post chapel in the Presidio, and we are walking distance. And I've had the chance to go over and visit the center. It's dementia related. I think in cases like that, those who are also in great need are the family members who are caregivers. Can you just drill down a little bit on the support that are offered to families and caregivers? And Dana, if you'd like to, after that, pick up on that, you're welcome to as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's a comprehensive team. So it's a care coach, right? A caregiver, a case manager, a group of people who can kind of, depending on, what's going on in a particular day, in a particular moment, can provide you with that extra support. So it could be a touch point each day, right? And it's a program that it is private pay, but you pay, sort of on I believe it's like a monthly basis, and then you have all that access right there. I mean, people who get to know you, your loved one. So it's not just like a blanket, here you go. Because it's not one size fits all, we're all in really unique situations, and each home, each family caring with somebody living with dementia, they really need that kind of dynamic, the specialties, the unique situations. So they offer, connections to additional support, right? Alzheimer's Association has grants. We have programs, and then support groups. So connection to others, right? Because that's a critical piece there in going through that life-changing, diagnosis and living together and maintaining connection and support is knowing, other people are going through it too. So. I don't know, Dana, if you have anything to add, but yeah, Compania is really a remarkable offering. Yeah.
And you actually covered it so nicely, Elle. Really just, wherever they need to call, and hopefully DOS is one of them. IOA certainly can be one as well with their connected program, but, really just understanding that there is support out there for everyone. And understanding that, there's agencies like Family Caregiver Alliance and the Alzheimer's Association, which Elle mentioned, and having the support groups, and getting, so you don't feel so alone. I think that oftentimes you might become kind of isolated in your care of somebody who needs assistance in the home and Alzheimer's and dementia. And so it's really important that they, have the ability to reach out and get connected so they don't feel so alone and isolated in that care. So, yeah, thanks.
I have a couple more questions, but I want to respect your time. We really are at the end of our programming here. And I would like to, if you would permit me to send these questions to the two of you. And if you can just get back to these good folks with some brief answers, I think it would be helpful to them and perhaps to the larger group too in the long run. Again, thank you both for your comprehensive and passionate and compassionate presentations and responses to these questions. We'd also like to invite our attendees to join us next Thursday at 8:30 for the third in the series of the 6 trainings that will focus on injury prevention. And so we look forward to continuing on. We had at the height today about 84 attendees, which is a record, and we encourage you to continue to join us. This brings to a close today's programming. Thank you for being with us. God bless you and God keep you.